Personalisation principle is use a conversational rather than a formal style. Given that we humans are adept at picking up on social cues that then influence our behaviour, and that both what we say and the way we say it can give all kinds of signals to our listeners, you should, as a narrator, try and use this to your own advantage and also to the benefit of your learners. This is one of the 12 principles that I struggle with the most. But the key to the personalisation principle is simple. When learners feel that you, as the narrator, are talking to them, they're more likely to try to make sense of what you're saying. This is because using a conversational style signals to your audience that they are participating in something, not simply passively enduring another one of Mike's videos. If we fail to personalise our communication, people are far more likely to switch off and lose focus. So language choice, the pace of speaking, the tone of our voice, and so on, should aim to be less formal wherever that's possible, without obviously overlooking things like the necessity of technical terminology if we're teaching something that requires those sorts of words. Here's a first example, a formal example. During inspiration, air passes into the lungs via the trachea. That's straightforward stuff, but it's more formal, and so potentially a whole video of that sort of narration risks the listener's personal investment in the narration. One way to present the same material but in a more personal manner involves using you and your in the narration script, like you're actually having a conversation with someone. Something like this perhaps. When you breathe in, which is called inspiration, air passes into your lungs via your trachea. What other ways can you think of to keep the narration personal? How about rhetorical questions? You also don't need the narration to be perfect. If you misspeak, then don't re-record the whole thing. Just correct yourself like you would in a normal conversation. Unless, of course, you misspeak so badly that it is actually confusing for your listeners. The personalisation principle for multimedia presentations appears to be most effective for novice learners. And actually this is really important, as long as it's not overdone. So don't try too hard to be daft or pally, because that's just distracting. So in summary, use a conversational style for your narration rather than a formal style.